There is a question that gets asked of every new man in a prison yard, usually within the first week, and it is 3 words long. Who you with? It sounds like conversation. It is not. It is sorting. Every new body gets put in one of 3 bins, and the man asking has done it 100 times. With us, with them, with nobody. The first 2 bins come with a table, and company and men who will stand up when you are in trouble. They also come with a bill that never stops arriving. The 3rd bin comes with nothing at all. Now, I want you to put a plain man in that yard. Amish. Grown beard, no mustache, 8th grade schooling, never held a telephone, forbidden by his faith to fight and forbidden to swear an oath. He is standing at that fence, and a stranger has just asked him who he is with. And here is what I find remarkable, and why I wanted to make this video. There are 5 rules that men use to stay neutral in a place like that. 5. I have listened to men who held neutral for a whole sentence explain how they did it, and it takes them an hour and they will tell you it was the hardest thing they ever did. An Amish man would pass 4 of those 5 without trying, not because he is strong, because he has been in training for them since he was 4 years old, and he does not know it. And the 5th one would very nearly kill him. What I know is what we are made of. I know what our people practice every day from childhood, and I know what 400 years of history says happens to plain men when the world locks a door on them. So we will take those 5 rules in the order men learn them. Easiest first, hardest last, and we will hold each one up against the way an Amish man is built. The 5th is a matter of eyes. The 4th is a matter of manners. The 3rd is where everything I believe would be turned upside down. The 2nd could get him hurt. And the 1st is the one that would take him apart, and it is not the one you are guessing. Rule 5. Know the map and never touch it. Every common room in a place like that has a geography. Certain tables belong to certain men, certain corners, certain seats, certain hours at certain machines. Nobody hands a new man the atlas. He is expected to learn it by watching, and he is expected to never once say out loud that he has learned it, because a man who knows the map too well is a man with information, and information is a thing people come and ask you for. Men describe learning that map over weeks. Glances, not stares. One steady fellow you can quietly ask. Now here is a thing about us that outsiders never quite believe. We live our whole lives inside an unwritten map. It is called the Ordnung. It is the order of our church, and it governs almost everything. What a man may own, what his buggy looks like, the width of a hat brim, whether a certain tool is permitted, and under what conditions and for whose work. It is different in every district, sometimes between one road and the next. And it has never been printed. Not once, not anywhere. There is no book of it. There is no copy in any house. A child learns it by watching his elders for years and noticing exactly where the line sits. And it is understood that you do not go about announcing the rules or debating them at the dinner table. You simply live inside them, and you know them cold, and you rarely say them out loud. An Amish boy has been reading an invisible map since before he could read a written word. So a man like that, dropped into a strange room with a geography nobody will explain to him, would not be lost. He would do exactly what he has done at every gathering of his life. He would sit at the edge, keep his eyes soft, say little, and let the shape of the room assemble itself over a few weeks. And he would never remark on it, because remarking on it is not how he was raised to behave anywhere. Rule 5, passed without effort. It is Tuesday to him. Rule 4, give every flag the same weather. This is the one about manners, and men who have held neutral describe keeping it with an accountant's care. The same good morning to every side, the same nod, the same length of conversation, the same distance, measured to the quarter inch, every day, for years. Because a neutral man is being watched for lean, sit a little too often near one group, laugh a little too long at their jokes, and nobody says a word, but somewhere a note is made. And a man who leans is not neutral. He is drifting toward a claim, and both sides can see the drift, and each side reads it differently, and neither reading is good for him. Men say the sameness was exhausting for the first few years and then became automatic. For an Amish man, it would be automatic on the first morning, because it is not a strategy for him. It is doctrine. We are non-resistant. That word gets confused with pacifism, and it is bigger than that. It means we do not take part in the quarrels of the world, not in its wars, not in its lawsuits, not in its politics, not in its factions. We do not serve, we do not sue, and most of our people will not vote. Not because we think ourselves better, because we believe a man cannot serve two kingdoms and we have chosen ours. So put him among men divided into sides. He is required by everything he believes to be exactly the same toward all of them. He cannot lean, because leaning is a sin in his book. The plain courtesy he would give every man in that building is the same plain courtesy he gives the auctioneer, the neighbor, the bishop, and the stranger asking directions. Men on that yard would spend years constructing a sameness that he simply carries in. Rule 4. Passed without effort. Rule 3. No debts, no favors, hold nothing, know nothing, across every line, no exceptions. Now everything turns over, and this is the part I most want you to hear, because this is where being Amish would nearly ruin him. The reason this rule exists is that in a place like that, a gift is never a gift. A soup handed over by an affiliated man is not food, it is a hook. And the collection, when it comes, is never money. It is hold this, stand there, watch that door. Tell me if you see. Small things, deniable things, and the moment a man does one, he is a participant with a receipt. Men who held neutral describe building a discipline of not knowing. Eyes forward, questions unasked. Conversation left the moment it turns toward business. One man was asked to hold a laundry bag for an hour, said no with his whole chest and gave no reason, and learned later the bag was empty. It was a test. Now look at what an Amish man walks in carrying. We do not have insurance. We have each other. When a man's barn burns, 300 people come and put up a new one in a day, and no bill is ever sent. When a man is sick, his neighbors do his milking. When a family has a child in the hospital, the district pays it. Accepting help is not weakness with us. It is the whole architecture. A man who refuses his neighbor's help is not admired. He is a problem, because he is saying he does not need the body he belongs to. Our entire life is a ledger of favors that nobody writes down and nobody ever settles. And that is on purpose. That is what a community is. So the single deepest reflex in that man, the one thing he was raised to do above nearly all else, would have to be strangled at the door. In there, a favor is a leash. In there, accepting help is signing something. In there, generosity is a business with terms in fine print. And that is a cruelty I do not think most people appreciate. The world outside teaches a man to be suspicious of strangers. Our world teaches the opposite, and it works, because our world is small, and everybody in it is accountable to the same church. Take that man and put him where kindness is a collection method, and you have not just changed his rules. You have made his best instinct into his greatest danger. He would learn it. But he would learn it the hard way, and slowly, and I suspect a few honest kindnesses would get refused along with the hooks, which is its own kind of loss. There is one part of it he would find easy, mind. Our people already believe you take nothing you have not earned, and we do not chase what is not ours, and we live under our means as a matter of faith. So the wanting of things would not tempt him. It is the accepting of kindness that would be the trap. Rule 3, passed at a real cost. Rule 2, when trouble comes, and it will come, you cannot borrow anyone's strength, not once, not slightly. Men describe this as the rule that gets tested on the neutral man's worst day. A lie starts moving about him. He has no side, so nobody corrects it for free. And then somebody falls into step beside him and says something quiet and deniable and generous. And the whole of it means, we can fix this for you if you want it fixed. And a man who accepts one time is not neutral anymore. Protection taken once is affiliation announced. Every year of careful sameness converts overnight into somebody else's asset. I do not think an Amish man would even reach the moment of temptation, and I want to explain why, because it is not toughness. He cannot fight, and he cannot have someone fight for him. Those are the same commandment to us. Non-resistance is not a rule about your own hands. It is a rule about violence, wherever it comes from, on whose behalf it is done. A man who lets another man break somebody for his sake has done the thing himself and has added lying to it. Our history is not comfortable on this point, and I will not pretend it is. In the First World War, our young men who refused to put on a uniform were taken to army camps and beaten for it. Some were held in solitary. 4 Hutterite brothers were chained in a dark cell at Alcatraz, and 2 of them died at Fort Leavenworth. Their widows were handed the bodies back, and the men had been dressed for burial in the uniform they had refused to wear alive. They could have put the uniform on. Not one of them did. So when a man on a yard offers to straighten something out on his behalf, an Amish man's answer is already written, and it was written centuries before either of them was born, and it has been paid for by name. But understand what he is choosing. He is standing there with no side, no protector, and a lie moving through the building about him, and he is turning down the only help on offer. Men who held neutral say the only way to kill a yard lie is to go flat, stay visible, let your record speak, and put yourself calmly in front of the man saying it with no audience. That is exactly what an Amish man would do, because it is exactly what we do at home. We do not sue, we do not shout, we sit down with the man. Whether that works in there every time, I cannot tell you, and I will not pretend. What I can tell you is that 400 years of our history says a man who has genuinely settled the question in advance is a harder thing to move than people expect. Rule 2, passed. Not safely, passed. And now the first rule, and everything else stands on it. Rule 1. You must want nothing from them. Not soup, not protection, the thing underneath, the thing every man in that building is starving for worse than any hunger. Belonging, company, a table where the seat is yours. Men who notice when you are missing. Because here is what men who spent years watching that yard say about how young men actually get recruited. And it is not what the movies show. There is no knife and no ultimatum. There is a scared young man holding a tray in a room full of strangers and a table of men waving him over. That is the whole pitch. A seat. They will tell you the boys who lost did not lose to threats. They lost to loneliness. On some gray Tuesday in the 3rd year, when the hunger finally outvoted the arithmetic, they sat down. And the table was warm. And the bill came later, in errands, then in acts, then in years added. And there is no road back to the 3rd bin. So a man holds rule 1 by having something else to feed the hunger with. Letters, a cellmate, an old fellow who walks laps with him. Small belongings built on purpose so he can afford to refuse the large one. Now, you already know what I'm going to say, and I want you to sit with it, because it is the reason I could not let this video go. There is no man alive who would want it more than him. An Amish man is not an individual who has a community. He is a piece of one. He is his district. He is the Sunday singing and the barn raising and the funeral where every soul comes and the wedding that takes 400 people and 2 days. Take an Englishman out of his life and you have taken his job and his house. Take one of ours out and there is a real sense in which you have taken the man himself and left the body. He would be the loneliest man in that building. Not because he is weakest, because he is the only one who was never a separate person to begin with. And his scaffolding would be thinner than anybody's. No telephone in his home. His people cannot be called on a Sunday evening. Visiting means hiring a driver for a long trip, and there are only so many of those in a year, letters and letters only, and 15 years of paper. So picture his gray Tuesday, a table of men laughing, real laughter, the kind that warms a room. One of them catches his eye and tips his head at an open seat. That is all. No offer, no words, nothing anyone could hold against anybody. And this man who has never once eaten a meal alone in his life, not a single one, who has sat at a long table with his people every day since he was born, has to carry his tray somewhere else. That is rule 1. That is what it costs him. So what would he feed it with? Because that is the real question, and I think our people have an answer that most folks have never heard. The first is a word, Gelassenheit. There is no good English for it. It means yielding, submission of your own will, letting go of wanting. It is the center of everything we practice, and it is why our clothes are plain and our houses are plain, and a man does not put himself forward or take a photograph or seek a name for himself. An Amish man has been practicing wanting nothing since he could walk, not as a strategy, as worship. Rule 1 asks a man to give up self-will in a room designed to break him for it. He would arrive having practiced that exact discipline every day of his life. And the second is a book, and this is the part that has stayed with me. Our hymnal is called the Ausbund. It is the oldest hymn book in continuous use anywhere in the world, and we still sing from it, and I have sung from it in a neighbor's front room on a bench with no back since I was small. Most of those hymns were written in a dungeon. Anabaptist prisoners in a castle cellar in the 1500s, men who did not know whether the door would open or the executioner would come, wrote the songs my people have sung every other Sunday for 400 years. Sit with that a moment. A plain man in a cell in this country tonight would already have the songs. He would not need to be issued anything or find anything or work out a philosophy. The words for exactly that room were written by his own people in a room like it, 4 centuries before he was born, and he learned them before he could read. Then there is Dirk Willems. In 1569, he escaped a prison across a frozen pond, and the guard chasing him broke through the ice, and Willems turned around and went back and pulled him out. He was recaptured on the spot and executed. Nearly every Amish home has the book with that page in it, and every Amish child knows the story. That is a prisoner who escaped and turned back for the man hunting him. That is what our children are raised on. So, the staircase, in the order a man would live it. Want nothing from them, and have something older than that room to feed the hunger with. Borrow no man's strength on your worst day. Owe nothing, hold nothing, know nothing, even though everything in you was built to accept a neighbor's hand. Give every side the same plain courtesy. Know the map and never touch it. And the honest limit, because I will not end on something tidy. This is one man's thinking about a place he has never been. Yards differ, states differ, eras differ, and no rule anybody owns guarantees any man's safety anywhere. I am not telling you an Amish man would sail through 15 years. I am telling you something narrower and stranger than that. 4 of the 5 hardest rules in that building are things my people practice on an ordinary Wednesday, without calling them rules, without knowing they are difficult, in a valley where nobody is testing them at all. And the 5th, the one everything stands on, the one that asks a man to want no belonging, is the one thing we are least built for, because belonging is not something we have. It is what we are made of. They would ask him who he is with, and the true answer is 800 miles away, at a long table, in a house with no telephone, and they would be sitting down to supper about the time he carried his tray to an empty seat. He would be with them anyway. That is the part the yard could not sort. If you want to know how our world works from the inside, that is what this channel is for. There is more of it than most folks would ever guess.